or the very second time, we invite you just to stand. Just to stand so we can recognize you. Amen. Amen, my brother. All right, so you're just going to tell us your name, where you're from, and who invited you.
My name is Marcus Dupree with my lovely family here, my wife Keisha, my daughter Maya, and JL. Amen. We're coming from Huntsville, Alabama. Our first time being here. Stephen and Ambry McWilliams, they invited us to your church. So.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much for being with us today. And we hope that you will consider, probably migrating to this side of Georgia. Amen. Because we see we have room for you and your family. Anyone else? All right. So the fact that we didn't have a lot of visitors today, it means that we will get more time for testimonies. Amen. But let me just do one announcement quickly. After lunch today, we have our Bible class. All right, please. So don't leave. After lunch today, we have our Bible class. So please come back to the sanctuary for Bible class. And Elder Negash will tell you that the Bible class has been inspiring and very, very informative. So we invite all of you to come back here today. Now, since we don't have any more visitors, we have time for some testimonies. And as Brother Brown would say, Elder Brown, by the way, welcome back, my brother, and welcome back, Sister, where is Sister Ann, Elder Ann? Yes, welcome back. We're so happy to have you back. And tell Auntie Rosie we missed her as well. All right, so without a test, we won't get a testimony. And I'm sure that if I don't limit it, that everybody will pop up to testify because we would have had some tests at some point in time in our lives. We have a very special young lady today who would have overcome a huge milestone in her life. And so I'm going to give her the opportunity first. And then after she speaks, then if we got time, we'll take one or two more. So at this time, we invite Sister Tamara Brown to share with us her journey. Amen.
Happy Sabbath, church family. Okay, so most of you know that the past few months I have been studying for a major exam, my Step 2 exam. It's a terrible, terrible test. Just to put it into perspective, most medical students take about 4 weeks of just studying for this exam on average. So I started out with that plan that I was going to take my 4 weeks of studying 12-hour days most times. And at the end of every week, I would take a practice exam. To cut a long story short, at the end of the 4 weeks, I had failed every single practice exam. And my test was coming up in a few days. So I was like, God, no, we're going to push it back. We're going to cancel it. And I was like, I know you're probably trying to teach me a lesson and having trust and faith in you, but I'm not ready. So I went online and I went to reschedule the exam, and there were no openings. So I was panicking. I'm like, Lord, I know what you want me to do, but I'm just not ready, please. Then I refreshed, and there was one spot in Auburn, Alabama. It was a 2-hour drive, but I was like, that is okay. I will take it. So now I had 2 more weeks to study for the exam. So I changed my tactic. I'm looking up how to improve your score drastically in 2 weeks, and I'm doubling my efforts to bring the score up. So same thing again, studying, and at the end of every week, I was taking a practice exam. I took the 5th practice exam, and I failed it again. I took the 6th practice exam, and I failed it again. So at this point, I am disheartened, but then I'm also tired because I was just studying continuously for weeks and weeks on end. And I was just like, well, my testing window is about to close anyway. Can't reschedule the exam again. I mean, I could, but it would probably be for another week or two, not guaranteed that I would find a spot. So I was like, all right, God, you're gonna have your way. I will go and I will take the exam. So when I took my final practice exam, this was 4 days before my test. Don't know why I did that. It wasn't a good idea because having that failure in the back of my mind with just 3 more days to study, it was very disheartening. But I decided to pray about it and press on anyway. So I did the best that I could do in the 3 days leading up to the exam. I stayed in Alabama the night before because I didn't want to risk being late or anything for the test. Worst sleep of my life. I was waking up every 30 minutes thinking that I was late for the exam. I was having nightmares that the computer shut off. Every bad scenario. Basically, I did not sleep the night before. Nevertheless, I prayed. I went into the exam. It took this 9-hour exam, and I left it in God's hands. But in my mind, I was low-key thinking like, okay, I failed it, but it's okay. This is what I'm gonna do different next time. I'm already planning for accepting the failure and taking the test again. Fast forward to 2 weeks later, I wake up to an email saying that the grades are out. And it's saying, please go into the portal and look at your grades. So I open up the portal, and you know the little spinny circle, and I'm like, God. And it finally opens up, and I see in big letters, pass. So I'm already like, God, even if it's by 1 point, I mean, that's not good, but amen, because I was certain that I failed. But then I continued to scroll through the exam, and I saw my score, and I was like, there is no way. I was like, there is no way, Lord. Pass, maybe, but pass like this, to put it in perspective, this pass grade that I got was 45 points higher than the practice test that I had taken 4 days before. To put that into further perspective, a 40-point jump in 4 weeks is amazing. But in 3 days, I know that it was nothing but God. And I know that He did it that way so that I can know, and I can tell you, that when you give God a little bit of space to move and you trust in Him, He will move on your behalf. Nevertheless, to say, to this day, I keep opening up the file and like looking like, is this really my name? On the top, Tamara Tanique Brown, date of birth. And at this point, I'm like, even if it's a mistake, no take-backs. So I just want to encourage you to trust in God. He will always make a way when there's no way.
Amen. Amen. Amen.